All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of NoTv.
NoTv, what's goody? What's happening
It's
with you, Britt?
goody. Man, so much. It's like so much. I want to be happy. There's some like shitty stuff going on. There's some happy stuff going on too. It's also hot. It's hot in LA. It's like
It's getting
that
hot.
that week before like summer hits where it's like hell and then it cools off. I feel like that's where we're at right now. It's like been in the 90s and it's like
Yeah.
I don't have air in my apartment, so it's just the fans are just moving around hot air. Just I'm like teaching hot yoga classes coming out to the hot outside.
Like, can I get a breeze? Come
Man,
on.
come on, but this is what I moved here for, right? We pay all those high taxes for the heat, so try not to complain
Mm-hmm.
too much. But
Gotta get to the
uh,
beach.
right, man, I'm trying to make it there this weekend. Hopefully, it's not like too crowded. But how you been? What's new with you? Anything exciting?
Yeah, solid. Looking to travel, doing some moving around from Bay to LA to the Bay, and yeah, it was hot.
Uh-huh.
That there's a bus that comes from Victorville. It's on the way from Vegas, and it goes all the way to LA, but it stops by Victorville. I hop on that thing, and I'm coming to LA.
They got
But
air on
it's
the bus?
fast. Man, it's a Flix bus. Yo, that thing is like, yeah, they got air on it. That's the first thing
I
you
thought
thought
you was about to
about. It's
say.
like,
I thought you was about to say it
they
didn't
got
have no
air on it.
air. Oh, yeah, I know it's stinking too.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. No, but there was some OGs in the back with they got what's that, Cobra? They got Cobra drinks in the back,
Oh,
walked up in there. I think I saw a homie that was fresh out. He was just a big dude with just a tank top on and a bag.
dang,
I was like, yeah, you probably just, it
fresh
was
out.
home, homegirl had her hair almost done, had a bonnet. It was like half done, but she had hair. She was like doing her own hair on it. I was like, this is a music video. This is a buddy music video right now.
That's
'Cause
funny.
yeah, so but it was hot for sure. For sure. I'm like, man.
Uh,
But gotta stay cool. I've been getting into Wim Hof breathing and getting into cool ice baths. So
Hmm,
I did an ice bath and worked on some Wim Hof breathing, trying to use that ice therapy.
that's
Really
good. I
good.
be freaking out in ice baths, man. I used to remember they used to try to make us get into those after games and stuff, and I'm hiding, dog. I'm hiding. I'm not doing that. I always tell people my idea of hell is cold. I do not like the cold. Like I don't do good in cold. I freeze up. My whole body tenses up. I feel like my mind freezes. Like I can't think. It's just it's awful. It's awful. I don't know
Yeah.
how I managed to live in Detroit for so long because
I know, right? You
I
built for
know,
this.
I know.
What
People,
what are you talking
I
about?
wasn't though. That's the thing. I wasn't built for it. I knew right away that that was not where I was supposed to be, but I made it out. So
She said, I made it out. Now you got fans just blowing hot air all
that's what I'm
around
saying.
you.
I try not to complain too much. It's 1 week. It's gonna be like this for 1 week, and then it's gonna cool down to like the low to mid 80s, and we're gonna enjoy our summer.
Hey,
So
there you go. Live your
that's what
life.
we got. But cool. Well, let's hop right into it. Let's hop right into our first segment of the show. What's poppin'? I'm gonna always be dancing in the background when the stuff comes on. I think it's super for real, right?
Hey, what's popping? That's what it feel like.
Yo,
Yeah.
so did you get a chance to watch the BET Awards?
I did not, but I got a whole wave of all kinds of articles, and I felt like I
Yeah.
was there. I felt like I was
I
there.
110% agree. I was at another event, so I didn't get to watch it, but I recorded it. I haven't watched them yet. I'm gonna take the time, to sit down and check it out. Um, but actually, I want to talk about who was not present at the BET Awards, and that was Lil Nas X. And so there's been this like battle between Lil Nas X and BET for a while now. He had one of the biggest songs last year with Industry Baby. And he actually performed at the BET Awards last year, and I don't know if you saw his performance. I thought his performance was great. I thought it was very entertaining. He did kiss one of his backup dancers at the end, which, I mean, it's not a big deal to me. But I guess the folks over at BET was not really feeling it. So long story short, he didn't have any nominations this year. And so he called him out on it. He was kind of like, I it sucks to see like the homophobia raging through the Black community. A few people were very eager to point out how he had, won Grammys and had Grammy nominations, and couldn't really understand why he was so upset and being like so upset with BT for not nominating him for anything. But then he was like, exactly, like, I have a Grammy nomination, and it sucks when the hate is from your own people. And I kind of agree with him. I think it was weird that he didn't have any nominations. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Jack Harlow was there, and he kind of was showing his support for Lil Nas X. I don't know if you
I,
saw the shirt
I
he had
saw that.
on.
I
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah,
Um. So I
and the
mean,
mixed reviews of his performance that a lot of folks were trying to say was saved by Brandy.
Brandy. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I haven't seen Brandy in a minute. I'm like, what a
I think
nice
that's also funny because
cameo.
I mean, like 3 months ago, he didn't even know who Brandy was. Jack Harlow didn't know who Brandy was. Remember?
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
I missed that one. I missed that one.
dog, I cannot remember what the I think he was on like some game show or something, and they asked him a question, and the answer was Brandy. Like, the answer was Brandy. I think, and they were like, Ray J's sister. And he was like, Ray J has a sister? And then everyone was like, how old are you? Like, kind of like you don't know. And so it's just looking real weird. But just to
Yeah,
take it back, what
yep.
are your thoughts on Lil Nas X not being there? Do you think that it's a I don't know, I don't want to say a grudge from BT, but do you think there's something there that they aren't trying to highlight? You know what I'm saying? Homophobia in the Black community, or do you think there's a specific reason as to why they wouldn't want him to be there, or is it just like, yo, you didn't get any nominations? Like, apparently there's like 500 people on this committee who vote for like these different types of awards. And when I read that there was there's 500 people, you're telling me no one put in a vote for my man's? Like, and I'm not even a huge Lil Nas X fan, but that's a lot.
There's no telling. There's no telling how talented Lil Nas X is, and
Mhm.
his ability to express on the track with the his ability to express on the track with precision and balance between pop music, hip hop, um, history. Elton John was on this project. Like
Yeah.
Madonna's one of his friends. Jack Harlow's one of his close friends. I know they connect and they're cool. And so I thought that was cool that he got some support there. But BET's it's Paramount, right? Is it Paramount or Viacom that owns BET now?
Viacom.
Viacom. It's Viacom. Um, I don't know. Sometimes these politics can run higher than you think and deeper than you think. And Lil Nas X is also, I mean, how he got to where he's been too was big a big part of that was trolling. Like my man is he he pushes boundaries and always has from the jump. If you watch what he's done closely and saw how, but he's broken so many records, like in terms of plays and streams and impact, like from his first single all the way till today, and it's like he doesn't stop. He keeps pushing the boundaries, and yeah, I mean, I could see homophobia being um a piece playing a piece in this, but I feel like
Mhm.
there's a lot of other players that play into it, and so I I can't speak too much to it because it's
Yeah.
kind of like but you can't see that there's something going on though, because it's like Mans didn't get nothing.
Yeah, he didn't get not one nomination,
Like,
and I'm wondering
nothing.
if this is gonna end up kind of being like how the weekend is with the Grammys, where he's just kind of pulled himself out completely. And I feel like
Mhm.
I'm not sure if they're still nominating him, but I know he's already very much said like he's doesn't support the Grammys. He's not going. Like, excuse me. And
And
I feel like this could be something that Little Nas X down the line is just like, you know what, like I got love for Black people, but BET, y'all can keep it, and that's just what it's gonna be.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to be full in no disrespect, it's like it's hard. Like, I don't know why I haven't taken BET awards too seriously in the last decade. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know
You
what it
know, there
is.
was like a string of them where I just felt like I don't know. I think there was a period of time where there were like I felt like all the award shows were kind of down a
Mhm,
little bit.
mhm.
Um,
I barely watch the Grammys because
yeah.
I always feel like I'm finna get really angry, like, and really be like, yo, you can clearly see what's playing out as politics. Like, you can clearly see what's playing out is some
Yeah.
other stuff. So like the true real artists where you're like, look, they got crazy plays, they're wild on the radio, their records are like groundbreaking or like you talk about the weekend, you talk about, it's the Macklemore, Kendrick, like it's like, come on, how do we
Yeah.
miss? How do we miss? You know what I'm saying? Like, much love to Billie Eilish, but Megan, like, you see the star, you know
Yeah.
how long did it take for Beyonce to get that respect? You know what I'm saying? It, even Burner Boy had the craziest Afrobeat album of his life, and it did not win the Grammys
Right.
in the
And I think
category. He had to get P Diddy on his team
yeah.
to help him push that. So it's just like
I think
I
when you
think with
have
these
that so
awards, it's
much,
great.
when that happens to you so much, and then like with a BET, right? It's from your own people. So it cuts a little different
It's
because it's
different,
like, dang,
definitely.
if y'all not even finna like help put me on or respect my craft or highlight my achievements and uplift me and whoop de whoop, then who will? Like if we don't got us, who got us? And I kind of feel like that's kind of where homie's at with that. And it sucks because I do think aside from doing a lot of cool things in the industry, I think he's also broken a lot of barriers just for other Black gay artists coming up.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah. So I don't know. It was disappointing to hear. Um, but yeah, that's really all I have from the BET Awards because
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't watch them yet. So
It's like I was like, I'll watch the highlights. I don't know. For me, it's like, I
I
mean, I
heard there
still
was some cool
support.
stuff going on though. I heard there was
I,
cool stuff. I heard Kanye made
fa-
an appearance. Diddy got
yep,
a big award.
yep.
Which was pretty cool. I think he's definitely deserving of that, especially in the
You
stage of
see,
his career that he's in now. I
yeah,
love
you
I
see a lot
love
of. Go ahead.
giving flowers when people are still around to receive them, and I want us to
Mhm.
do that with a lot of our musical icons earlier in their career now. So I was
Right.
happy to hear that that was something that they did for Diddy.
Yeah, yeah. And
Puff
it's
Daddy.
crazy. It's crazy that night. So many beautiful black people. Just so many
And
beautiful
I heard
black
the
people.
HBCU showed out. I heard Howard, my alma mater, was all up and through that
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, I heard HU was all up and through. I heard there's a
yeah.
lot of other HBCUs too. So shout out to all the HBCUs. A
Oh
super
yeah.
shout out to Howard.
Hey, there you go. That's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
All
That was cool.
right. For sure. All right. So next I want to touch on, okay, so Drake's album. Been out, mixed reviews, right? Some people love it, some people don't. It grew on people. Some people are still like not catching that vibe, not catching that wave. It is what it is. And that's cool. But did you hear Irv Gotti's comments? So Irv
Mm,
Gotti, I'm actually gonna read the quote because I do not want to misquote people.
yes.
What you said is what you said. You feel
What you
me?
say is
All
is
right.
you.
Yeah, you got to stand on it. So he said, personally, I love Drake. I think Drake is a great person. He's a great human being. but I listen to his album, and Drake can do whatever he wants as an artist. But Drake's new album is not hip hop. When he was asked if he thinks the album like signifies the demise of hip hop, he said, "I hope not. As long as I'm alive, there can never be a demise of hip hop. I got to get back in the game. That's what the album made me feel like. It makes me feel like going and finding a new DMX, a new Ja Rule, a new Jay Z, and serving niggas and bringing back great hip hop." So this is what Irv Gotti said, and uh I don't know. I thought that was
Yo,
kind of harsh.
hey, yo, Irv, give it to you straight, no chaser, man.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of. I mean, are we saying that like hip hop is just like one thing? Because I always thought I thought I was always under the impression that hip hop is like this big umbrella, right? And then there's like genres under it, right? Like rap is under hip hop. So I don't know. For him to say that for Drake's album to not be hip hop, I think is like that's false. That's a false statement. Can we at least agree on that? That's a false statement, right? I mean, if you think otherwise, enlighten me. Is it because it's like it's dance? Is dance? Are we not putting the category of dance under hip hop? Is that what we're saying?
No, what you're implying is singing is a part of hip hop, and that's what's being implied, right? And so in hip hop was birthed out of the verbal and lyrical expression of words that wasn't always tonal. It can be tonal, but there's a lot of elements that make something hip hop, right? At least there's a standard fundamental breakdown of like, okay, you could say this is hip hop, or at least this is the fundamental of what hip hop it reflects the fundamentals of what hip hop is or was.
Okay.
Now it has evolved, yes.
Right.
Kanye broke barriers, Kid Cudi broke barriers, where it's like you got rappers that could also get, tonal with their flow, and they can add melody to their flow. The Uzis,
I was gonna say, and even all these hyper pop, they still fall under the category of hip hop, right?
Right. Yeah. And there's so there's that. Now Drake knows hip hop and speaks the language fluently. He's one of the best, actually. A lot of, I remember coming up, he was the Obama. We called him Young Obama at hip hop because he thoroughly could express himself lyrically, but he would always talk that mess that he could back up, and always was about that. This was a dance record, This was him really diving into his singing bag, and that's not. I wouldn't consider this record a hip hop record, but I will say, based off of this statement or whatever, Drake is he's a Petty Crocker. He's a Tom Petty. You know what I'm saying? Like, my man might say something on the next project where he keeps it real thorough hip hop. He will switch up on us real quick because he can. He has that range, right?
Yeah, I
He
mean,
has the range to
he
be able to
said,
sing, and then and be able to.
Scary Hours 2 is supposed to come out, and that's gonna be. I mean, I don't know, the way I see it, if Scary Hours 1 is this, I expect Scary Hours 2 to be this. So I really hope he don't switch it up on this again. But Scary Hours 2 should be like a classic, like a hip hop album. I just think it's interesting that like we allow a certain extension to other artists, like these hyper pop, could be its whole other thing in my opinion. Like, how does that stem? Like, we have these younger kids coming and creating this whole new element that we really haven't heard of prior to now, right? But we still list that under hip hop.
Okay.
And just because homie added a different beat to the background, we're saying that this is not hip hop.
Okay, well, all right, let's dive in real quick.
Okay.
Here, all right? Because I think it's production.
Okay.
And it's rushing over that production when you're on a track. So you can tell someone's doing something hip hop on a dance record if their rapping and their rhythm is is not really singing and they're lyrically rhyming, right? That's one
Mhm.
thing. Now they could be singing or having tonal to a Chance the Rapper is really good at this too, where he can rap, but he's like kind of singing too, but his rhythms are
Yeah.
syncopated, and it's like, no, you can hear that it's a rapper that would do something like that. Like they could sing what they would rap because they're talented, right? And then now if they're not, and let's say they're just kind of singing on a beat that's really trap, but it has a lot of electronic elements to it, right?
Mhm.
They can sing on it. But once they're syncopated and they start rapping a little fast or singing a little faster on a
That makes
really
it
hard beat, that makes it that
so
makes it
it's the
okay. That's very
beat
hip
then. It's
hop.
the beat that we're looking at
It's the beat and the
to de
speed of what you're saying while you're singing, right? Like, or the rhythm of what you're saying while you're singing on top of the beat. So it's a fine line. It's like, eh, and that's the blur. But to your
yeah.
point, it's the blur. It is blurry. But this one is clear. He's like, I'm making a dance like this is dance.
Nah, yeah, it's absolutely dance. It's absolutely dance. I just didn't know that we just were like, dance is not hip hop. Like I didn't know
It,
that
with
we
Without dance, I don't think there would have been hip hop because remember
yeah.
dance. You
I
corrected me
mean,
before.
yeah.
It started in Detroit,
Yeah.
and those electronic elements from dance is what's used. Those electronic elements from dance is what's used in hip hop today in trap beats. It really came from those 808s and
So
those machines
basically,
rolling.
Irv. Nah, I mean, but I will say, I don't think there's another. I mean, I guess he did say new DMX and new Ja Rule, new Ashanti. I think we've evolved from those. I don't think we'll ever get another DMX.
Oh nah,
I don't think we'll
yeah,
ever get another Ashanti.
mm.
Ja Rule. I don't think
We
we'll
might
ever
get
get
another Ja Rule. We
another.
might get another Ja Rule. I don't know.
That's funny.
Fire Festival.
Man, that was such a shit show, dog. That was a wild time. That was a wild time. All
Oh
right.
man. Yep.
So I was excited when I read this because I felt like for a while now we've been kind of harping on um the lack of true R&B, right? We
Mm,
have and it's weird because when I think of R&B now, like there are definitely some artists who I really really like and really respect, but there's nothing like that 90s R&B. Like we haven't had that, right?
mm,
Well, Babyface announced a new record, a new
mm,
album rather, called Girls Night Out.
mm.
And so let me backtrack. He just signed a new deal with Capitol Records. Super exciting.
Hey.
Releasing a project in October, end of October, called Girls Night Out. And it's his first project since 2018, but it's going to be featuring a ton of female R&B artists. I'm going to name a few: Ari Lennox,
Ooh.
Kehlani, Queen
Sheesh.
Naja, my girl
Mm.
Doechii,
Oh.
LMA, right? So the last time, and he talks in the article, he kind of touches on his excitement of working with um, not only being accepted at Capitol and signing with Capitol, and he like really loves the team there, but just working with all these artists. But he said the process of creating this reminded him of when he did Waiting to Exhale. And let me tell you, Waiting to
Mm.
Exhale was one of the greatest soundtracks
Oh yeah.
of our
Oh
time.
yeah. What?
Whitney
Okay.
Houston,
Yes.
Aretha, my girl Toni Braxton. Like this was a great, great album. So if we get a fraction of Waiting to Exhale on this Girls Night Out album, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Yo.
And I think this can only help the resurgence of the genre of R&B.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. Babyface. Man, my grandmama used to love her some Babyface. My mama too. They just
I was gonna say my
love that.
mom.
They
My
love some
mom loved
Babyface.
Babyface.
Yo, and Waiting to Exhale. Oh my gosh. Talk about a classic. black
When I was
film that's
when I was thinking about it, I was trying to think of, like, a soundtrack since then that I listened to, like I remember that was one of the I mean, back when, like, we had CDs, right?
mhm.
And I remember in our, like, computer room, we had, like, a thing, it was, like, this tall from the floor, full of, like,
With all the
CDs.
CDs in it,
Yeah, with
yup.
all the slots, and they were in alphabetical order. Cause why? I don't know, I didn't do that. But that CD was always gone. I always had that, and my mom would get so mad, she'd, "Bring me my CD back." Like, that was, like, one of the ones that, like, I just constantly had on repeat because it was such a good soundtrack, and I think that I mean, the movie Waiting to Exhale was great. Probably when it came out, it was a little older than I should have been watching it, you know what I'm saying? But I think the soundtrack made me like the movie more, which is
Yeah. Oh yeah, fire, fire. So if
it's
yeah,
it's
you're right. If it comes back a fraction, of course, if Babyface's hands is on this thing, and it's like he's got the right artist in on it too. He's got the right type of artist in on it. You hear those names, it's powerhouse. So he's working with some really good folk. It could be very very interesting. What can happen to the genre of R&B. I mean, man, Whitney, oh man, that era, Tony Braxton, it had all the right records.
yeah, it had all the
Oh, you
soulful voices, and I feel like that's what he did. I feel like knowing Babyface, and not that I know him, I don't know this man, but I feel like he was very intentional in how he and who he chose to be on this album. I think that the voices he chose are very commanding voices of our time.
mm,
These are very strong voices, and this is not to say that these are the only R&B artists out, right? But I think for the time that we are in, all of the artists that I named, and there's some that we don't know of yet, are very strong in the R&B community and are gonna hold their own. Hopefully similar to how, the greats did it back then. Um, And I think this is pretty cool, but it also touches on our next article a bit, because Chris Brown believes that hip hop's dominance has in turn made R&B obsolete.
mm.
And I think that's very interesting because, like, I'm reading that, and then I read, like, the resurgence of Babyface and him signing, and I was like, "Oh, man, Babyface should have called Chris Brown and been like, "Nah, bro, I'm saving this." Right? But let me kinda share with you, he did an interview on, it's called $1,000,000 Worth of Game podcast. Have you heard of that?
$1,000,000 worth of game.
Yeah, I like the name.
Yeah,
But,
for real.
he said it's obsolete in the fact that it being primary, meaning, like, you used to listen to the radio and they had an R&B day, which I do remember.
Mm,
Not to take anything away, hip hop has just been dominating shit. I can't hate on hip hop. I'm a part of it, so I love it. Let all the, let all the hip hop be heard. But I feel like, not to sound lame when I say this, it's really no more artistry left in the type of sportsmanship lane. A lot of R&B have to go through introverted or they look emo. And if they're not like that, then people will give them that neo soul type of genre, which I kind of agree with. I don't feel like that's right, but I feel like there's a scarcity of confident males that can sing. So he kind of touched on, like, the male side, which, when I think of when I think of, like, the 90s and the early 2000s male R&B. First of all, did you watch the last Verses?
Oh,
Bro.
I missed it. I missed it,
Oh
but
my
Lord have
gosh.
mercy, I heard so much.
Oh my
Yo, it
gosh.
was on
Honestly, I
fire.
think Versus was
Tell me.
probably better than the BET Awards, to be honest. I watched it. And first of all, it did remind me of just all the talent we had, right? Sammy,
Mhm.
Mario, Omarion, and so I mean, okay, Sammy, Mario, Omarion, Ray J, Bobby Valentino was there, Pleasure P was there. Um, and it just kind of reminds we had some singers, right? Because we also had the groups, and the groups weren't all there, but we had, like, the Pretty Rickies were there. You
Freddie
know what I'm
Ricky's,
saying? The
B2Ks.
B2K, yeah, right. So we had a lot of that. it was a lot more like group stuff, I feel like back then, especially in the R&B side. And now, the article highlighted The Weeknd. The article talked about Lucky Day, who I like. The article highlighted Blast from LA. His album's pretty good, actually. But I do think that I don't want to say R&B's dead. I just think like I don't know. It definitely is not held on the high pedestal that it was back in the earlier 2000s and in the 90s. Like there were just so many more talented singers, especially on the male side, um,
Mm.
that we see today. What do you think about that? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I think it's not as prevalent in the mainstream now, and it makes you think about what is Gen Z into? Like, what is this generation
Yeah.
into? And it's like everything's so fast and everything's thrown. You know what I mean? Everyone's just turning up all the time
Yeah.
and chaos. Social media is off. All it's
Like, just
just
sit down, sing a
it's like
song.
nobody
Put your
wants to
arms
sit
around
and
somebody
listen
and
to it.
rock side to
Right.
side. Just sway for a minute.
You
You
know
don't
what I
gotta move
mean?
so fast. Have a nice
Right.
sway.
Yeah, it shows you what the age is like, but I feel like there's not, and it's a lot harder to find. It's not because it's not there is no it's not on the radio. Like when do you turn on the radio and listen to
I
slow
never
jams?
listen to the radio. I like
When do you
never
turn on the
even listen
radio?
to yeah, I
Yeah,
like am so upset whenever my phone dies and like I don't have my car charged. I'm like, well, what am I gonna listen to now? Like I don't have a whole ass radio right here, but can't listen to this. Like
right,
I haven't been
right.
listening to that, prior. But yeah, I don't listen to
It
the radio.
it plays into it, and so I think like when you look at the folks that did make an impact and came in the game and did some interesting things, like when you hear it's like sometimes you got it's weird, like in order to really hit you got to be kind of crossover, like when you saw Black came through, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, and Daniel Caesar came through, like Bryson Tiller had to bend a little bit on genre, trap soul, just to like feed you a little bit of R&B and tell you a little like and Chris Brown's been around through this whole this whole time and it's like, yo, yeah, it's weird. We're in a different age, so it's like it's not as pop as it used to be. It
yeah.
used to be pop to have R&B singers in a band in a group and like now it's I don't know. Like, can a group happen? W-
Ah,
You,
everyone wants to be
can
solo now. Everybody, don't nobody want to be in a group.
can you see that happening? Are there any groups? I don't know.
Um, I mean, I
Like,
heard. I mean, to the your question of are there any groups? Not that I know of. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. I did hear like through the grapevine. I think I remember reading something a while back that that Diddy was trying to do like another Making the Band. Um, but I think like the problem, not the problem with all that, but I just remember all those shows like when he did Making the Band, and then he had the Danny Kane one. I feel like there was another show. Eventually, all the artists want to go solo. I think the last
yeah.
like group. I mean, remember Day 26? I love Day 26.
Yeah,
I
I
was a
remember
huge
Day
fan, but then
26.
like some of them wanted to like go solo, and sometimes you're better together than you are apart. And like once you take that, like for some people's ego, saying that you want to be solo to the rest of the group is kind of like you're quitting on us, and then you've already kind of spoken your piece, so now you're not really accepted back into the group, and now your solo career failed potentially. The group is now dismembered because you left, and no one can really replace like one of the original members. Sometimes they try to do it, groups try to do it, but it never works out because as fans, we fall in love with the originals, right? We don't
Right.
whoever comes in after that, you're just a replacement. So I don't know. I just thought this was interesting. Like I said, I was so excited when I read about Babyface. And then I saw the article with Chris Brown, and I was like, well, this is interesting. I wish Chris would have called up Babyface and be like, yo, bro, I feel the same way about R&B. Let's get together and try to bring this shit back or something. But
Revolution.
yeah, but I'm
It'll
excited
help.
for I'm hoping for the return of R&B. Let me tell you, I love to sing me a good song in the car or in the house or anywhere really. So I hope it comes back.
Hey, hopefully
But
we see
yeah,
this happen.
yeah, for sure. All right, well that wraps up this week's episode, or excuse me, not episode, segment, of What's Poppin'. Let's move it along to Fresh Looks.
Fresh look.
Fresh Looks this week, I actually relied on Spotify a bit. They have a few different playlists, uh, Fresh Finds playlists that I tap into every now and then, and all the artists, both of the artists, I should say, because we have one producer who I want to shout out, but both of the artists are both fairly new to the scene, like so new that it was kind of hard to find a lot of information about them. But I think that's cool too because like we're touching them like on the ground, right? So um I listened to a lot of the stuff that they had out, checked out some SoundCloud pages. And yeah, so let's jump into it. The first artist I want to touch on today, her name is Preye. And I just want to preface this by saying that's how Kwesi said that he would have pronounced the name. So
Prey.
that's Preye. That's how I said it. Um, but she is a super cool, super talented soul artist. She has a very enchanting, dynamic voice. She had a slower start to her career, but it's really allowed her to kind of tap into her current style, which I think is smart. You know, it's always I feel like that fine line. I think whenever anyone thinks to start something, it's like start right away, start young, right? Sometimes things take time to build, right? So it's like you want to hone in on your talent, your skill, whatever that is, before you release your product. Or you can release your product right away and just kind of grow from that. I think there's certain ways to take it, to start it rather. And so it's interesting. She currently is working on her debut EP, so she doesn't even have like a full project out yet. She had one of her most recent singles. It's called "Peace of Mind," which I just thought was a very beautiful track. It's a like a soul, Afro R&B, bedroom pop type of vibe. And then she recently released another song called "Malibu," which I really liked. But her sound overall, it's a fusion of like Western influences and then elements of her African root, which I think speak obviously to her. But I love when artists tap into like who they are and their roots and stuff in their music and in their artistry. I think that's really cool. And she touches on that really well. And she's inspired by a lot of different artists, Jill Scott, Yanni, Brenda Fazy, and also Lauren Hill. And yeah, I really liked a few of her singles that I heard: "Peace of Mind," "Malibu," and "Love Fumes." "Love Fumes" is a vibe. So yeah, she's an artist that you should check out, and we will be adding her to our NoTv season 1 playlist. The next artist that I want to talk about, I just thought he was so interesting. His name is Leuca. Leuca. I think that's how you say it. I hope I'm saying it right. But I just want to read because I feel like he wrote his Spotify bio himself, and so I want to read that because, like I said, a lot of both of these artists didn't really are starting from they're fairly new, so didn't have a lot of research to go off of. But I think that he wrote this himself. He his best describes his artistry as very close to home. He's worked with artists ranging from Xavier Omar to Sango and his most frequent collaborator, Mike Green. And he got his name from the word melanolucia. I think that's how you say this, which is a scientific term that means black and white mammal. His parents are of Jamaican and Irish descent. So that's where he like pulled his name from. And then he dropped like the first half and then just kept the end, Leusha. So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, first song that I heard that like made me want to kind of search into him a little more is called Sunrise. Very beautiful, beautiful song. He released that earlier this year in May. And then he also dropped another single earlier this year called Too Nuff, which is pretty
Mm.
cool. But my other favorite tracks of his are called Strangers and Home. Home's pretty dope. So that's another new artist for you to check out. We'll be adding those tracks to our playlist. And the last person I want to highlight in our Fresh Look segment this week is actually not a artist, but rather a producer. So for those who don't know, Kwesi and I host alongside our co-host Sick With It, Firebeat Fridays, which is a cool live streaming event that Kwesi started last year, where we have producers come on and we play their beats live and we kind of critique, give feedback. And we've been doing this since last August, September, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's been cool to kind of grow with the community. It started in Discord, and since then we've kind of opened it up. It's a Twitch and a Twitter, YouTube home now. But a lot of these producers, some of these producers have been with us since day one, right? So it's cool to see not only the new producers come in and join the community and kind of help just build up what we're trying to do, right? But also those producers who have been with us from day one. And so this producer that I'm about to highlight, his name is Bulgakov. We call him Young Moscow. And he is one of our day one producers. And I remember when we first started Firebeat Friday, or FBF as we call it, and he was, kind of scratching the surface. You could tell he was a little new, had some skill in him, but wasn't like all the way there. And he kept showing up every month. I mean, when we first started this, I think we were doing it every Friday, and then finally we spaced it out. And every month he's showing up to FBF and the FBF Light and dropping his stuff. And every month you can hear him getting better. And I remember back in I want to say it was March or April, we picked like the top 3 beats, and he placed within like the top 3, right? And I remember hearing the beat and being like, man, that is like really good. And finding out it was him and being like, I'm so proud of you, to see where you've come in the short amount of months. And so I think he placed again in like April or May. And last month, or last week rather, we did a Afrobeat theme. And homie pulled up and won the whole thing. And it was just super, super dope. Like, I was very proud of him. I just, we know the work that a lot of these producers put in. And so it was very, very cool to see someone really get rewarded for their work. So, Kwesi, if you don't mind, I would love for you to play a little bit of his beat. It's called Honestly Never Mind.
That's a part of the reason why you like it so much.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Before I play it, yeah, Bulgakov. We actually were doing Firebeat Friday weekly the first 5 or 6
Yeah,
weeks.
that was
But
wild. That was a wild time.
that was crazy. It was like 5 or 6 straight weeks. Every Friday night, we was just like listening to beats for 2-3 hours. But folks were pulling up, and Bulgakov pulled up to every single one, and then every single one after that. So it's crazy to see someone that just kept coming and also kept submitting and kept creating to submit, and taking that kind of call for accountability for a producer to
Mhm.
be like, hey, you can make one thing a week and submit it. And for him to be like listening to that feedback and just reflecting on it and evolving, it's like he's such a big part of the Airbit fan, because he's just put in work so often and so
Yeah.
consistently. So big ups to young Moscow.
All right, so let's check out Bulgakov's winning FBF beat titled Honestly Never Mind. One more
good
time.
vibes.
Yeah, it's super good vibes. One more time. Shout out to the homie Young Moscow. And that wraps up this week's Fresh Looks. Let's
Hey.
take it over to Digital Dash.
Yeah, so for this week's Digital Dash, I'm going to dive into a really dope app. I probably mentioned it before. I'm probably going to mention it again. I'm going to run this thing back. I'm going to run it into the ground. Voisey. Voisey app. That's Voisey. I believe that's how you spell it. Voisey app. This is the TikTok.
Boise. Sorry.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Like, look.
I felt it when you were like really hammering it in. I was like, let me make sure that people get it. So I just wanted to
Appreciate it. Thank you.
drive it home. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Voisey is one of the best apps if you are a producer or an artist to collaborate. It is basically like a collaborative music platform. You have like DSPs. This is like the CMP. It's a collaborative music platform in which you can create something and create something off of somebody else. TikTok is a collaborative media platform. It's also a CMP. Like you can do duets. Voisey, you could do quartets. It's you could take a harmony from one person, another person can harmonize on that, another person can harmonize on that, and so on and so forth. So you see some amazing things happen on Voisey. Voisey, as a producer, you can upload 3 beats a day. It allows you to upload it to it straight through the website. You can only do it through the website. Once you upload those beats, you have to choose where in those beats you have to choose the key and the loop point of where you want it to loop. This is one of the dopest platforms if you're a producer, if you're trying to get exposure and also to hear what people do on top of your beats. I'm not gonna lie, during the pandemic, I stumbled upon Voisey, and to be honest, it was one of those apps that actually made me tear up. Like I teared up because I felt like I was in the studio with artists again. This is how powerful this app
Mm,
is. It was founded in the UK as a UK company. Snapchat ended up acquiring it. So it
I
has
know
the
that.
backing of Snapchat. You share directly from Voisey to Snapchat. As a producer, from the producer perspective, I'm gonna talk about it from the artist perspective in a second. From the producer perspective, you can take your beats, you can upload 3 beats a day. It goes into their new beat, kind of it pops up to the top of their feed. New beats always get popped to the top of the feed for artists that are searching it for beats. They have different tags for genres of beats, so people who are searching for genres can do that. You are exposed to an infinite amount of people that who know about Voisey and just want to express themselves. They have voice effects that are like, I'm talking spot on. They got the auto tune effect, they got reverb effect, they have some voice effect delays, then they have visual effects too that you can put on, right? Because it's a collaborative platform, but you can make it really fun and do some interesting things with the visuals. It's you will get the UI and the UX design of it if you hop in there. It's very similar to the Snapchats or the TikToks, or it has that same type of feel. But I ain't gonna lie, Brittany, I maxed out. I literally I teared up one night. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you how and why. I uploaded a beat called Clickbait to Voisey, and it was like during the day I was like, I heard about the app. I was like, cool. And I was like, can I upload beat? All right, cool. And I was like, let me choose my like like 3 or 4 beats. I chose 3 beats that I'm like, I can't even write. I don't know how I would do the melody to. I put 3 beats up there. It got 50 likes. Like, and which is it's pretty intense. It's a new app, so it's like
Yeah.
it's hard to get 1,000 likes or 2,000 likes on there or something like that. So when I saw like 50 likes people were commenting, like 7 people did something on top of that beat. I'm like, 7 people? Then
Was it dope? What they did?
oh, oh man, those are guitarists, a homie that's a real musician. That dude was in his car and just wrote. He just I don't know if he had something already written and it just
Yeah.
fit to this beat, but he wrote something to it. It was so fire. And then 3 other people harmonized with him on that beat. Ran all around the world. They all harmonized with him on it.
That's
And
cool.
I
I
was
didn't know you could do
and
all
it was
that, I'll be honest. I did
oh,
not know
oh yeah,
that.
it became a full collab between people from across the world. And I listened to it and I was like, oh, I immediately followed dude on IG. I'm like, yo, cool folk. But that was day one. 24 hours later, I'm like, it's got, you know, thousands of views. People played it so many times. All these likes, people just running it up. All these people doing their own versions to it. It had
Yeah.
like 47 voices, 47 voices of people doing something to that beat. Right. That was just clickbait.
And that's just
Then
one beat, yeah.
that's one beat. And then maybe I'll do this on this episode when I bring back Voisey again, because I'm going to bring it back every every season. Voisey's probably gonna bring back. But the second one, for our what's poppin' section, it is a beat, one of my beats. It's called 90s Kid. Obviously, it feels that way. And I put that one up. My ma- and I'm gonna send this one to you, Britt, and I'll probably do a segment where I'll play it on here. Um, this is the one that made me tear up. Some dude listened to this '90s Kid and remixed "Family Matters,"
Oh, you told
saying
me about this, yeah.
saying the intro to "Family Matters" on this beat, and I literally teared up. I And this was like the height of the pandemic. This is 2020, summer 2020. No one's outside.
We in the
It's
house.
it's low key illegal to be outside. It felt like the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like I was able to tap in with different people from around the world. Man's literally, I never thought I would hear Family Matters like that. It made me feel like I heard. He made it a challenge. It's called the family, or the no, it was called the TGIF challenge, right?
Uh-huh.
Like take a
That's
song from
cool.
TGIF and sing it. Turns out my man's a barber, cool dude. Um, but you talk about networking, you could do that. And as a producer, this is the best type of exposure you can get. And you, if you really want to hear people on your beats, and also I got my sale from Voisey as well.
I was gonna
There was
ask, do
another
you make sales off of Voices too?
yes. Oh
Cool.
yeah, I got a few sales off of Voisey. It's just people. Once you have your beat store put up there, people just trail straight to it. So, a few of my beats, I'm like, I can figure out who. I can check email,
Yeah.
try to find what the username is. Found them on Voisey. I'm like, I know exactly how you got access to this
That's
because
dope.
that's how you got a chance to get access to my joint and put the stems together for it. So, or cop the stems for it. So, it's probably one of the best places to place your beats and also put traffic towards that. So if you have a Voisey, make sure you have your username available on your website. People can click it, or they can find you on Voisey, put it on your socials too. Now, on the artist side, if you're an artist, this is the best place to find your beats. There's producers, there's some crazy beats on here. I've also done voices myself on some of the beats that I just to record freestyles and get
You
some
rapping?
ideas, concept
Ah, let me
rapping,
find
singing,
out. Let me find out.
yeah, I got bars,
Quasi
back in
got
the day.
bars.
Back in the day, I was out here spitting back when they called me Al Beast. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so so on the artist side, like I said, you can collaborate, you can find other artists that you can collaborate with. You find an endless amount of beats that is always being uploaded, refresh every day. It's a new 3 that they have to upload. So there's always new beats on there. You can export from there and it becomes content you can repurpose elsewhere.
Mhm.
And I actually discovered it through one of my boys, very talented homie. Just did a quick one, posted it on his IG, and it was a rap. It was like, what? Like, folks was like, really like, yo, you did this in your car. People are recording voices in their car. They got their headphones on. They just like this, holding the thing, and just record. And there's talent. Now, there's a lot of funny things too. Like people just be doing whatever, somebody's in their bathroom. They're just no. It's like,
That's
nah,
annoying.
man. And you heard it, but it's like, hey, man, if you want to buy it, cool. You can buy a license to the beat if you really
You
want
want
to
to
do
do
something.
that and buy it?
But
Cool.
it's cool. But you can actually record a lot of notes. It's funny what you can do and how much inspiration you can have. So as an artist, you might be able to be on Voisey, and then you can record a sketch to somebody else's beat. It might be something that just hit your mind and it was on somebody else's beat, but now you have a sketch of something. So if you want to use that person, contact that person to get their beat, or you could just export it and work with another producer, create another beat that's similar. I've discovered some amazing artists that made some crazy music on Voisey that I'm just like, wow. And it's cool. You can save Voiceys from there. You can save it to your phone. You can post it on Snapchat, or you can screen record what you see. So either way, you're this is a platform that I think is going to lead the future in creating these kind of interactive experiences between producers and artists that just take things to the next level. This is really the future of social networking, but it's like social creations. It's going to be social creating. It's a social creation network. That's really what it is. So, yeah. So that's your digital dash for today. Br-
Nice.
you
Appreciate
know,
that. I'm about to go sign Airbit up for Boise, man. Y'all need to be on the lookout. We about to start our Boise account soon. I'm serious. By the way, I don't want nobody to think I'm joking, but we're about to get active on Boise. We're already on Rap Chat. So,
truth,
I
truth.
feel like
Rap chat is another one. I will take a little bit of a second to say rap chat is very similar in this sense, where you got beats up there and folks can definitely do their thing. And I'll actually I'll actually zoom into rap chat
yeah,
for another
let's do a
digital
nice
dash.
dive into Rap Chat on another episode. I think that's good.
Oh
That's
yeah, oh yeah. We'll do a full one on that for the next digital dash. So
Cool, cool. Well, all right. So for our next segment, Run It, we have one of Airbit's top selling producers. He's been making beats for over 12 years. Ceasar Beats. He's gonna join us and just kind of share his background, how he got started into the industry, and just kind of how he's made his career as a producer selling beats. So let's tap in. Y'all, welcome to the Mentor Series. Super, super excited for this episode's guest. We are here with Ceasar Beats.
Yes, sir. What's going
Ceasar,
on, everyone?
Ceasar is one of our top selling producers on the Airbit platform. So we're super excited to just kind of chop it up with him. And hopefully he's going to share some insight just on your background, how you kind of got to where you are, some tips on selling your beats, promoting yourself,
Right.
all of that. So if you don't mind, let's just hop right into it.
Let's do it.
All right. So first, just tell me a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, maybe your upbringing a bit, and just kind of how you got into music specifically.
Well, I was actually born and raised in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I left when I was like probably like 7.
Okay.
And my dad is a pastor, so I got
Another church. I
yeah,
love
yeah.
producers who come up in the church. It's just
yeah,
such an interesting
it's
story
tra-
from y'all
you
every
you you the
time.
you the PK from BK, huh?
There you go. I like that.
I see that. I see
I
that.
like that. And so I got into music just by always sneaking into getting on the pulpit after church was over and sneaking on and messing with the drums and the keyboard, and my dad would catch me and say, "Get off that keyboard, get off them drums, I paid too much money for that." So after he told me to get off it, I may sneak back around 20 minutes later and get back on it. So Um, I was someone who was stubborn in the sense of intrigued with uh, wanting to, I don't know, I guess know more about music or sounds or things of that nature. So in the church,
Yeah.
Right. Did it evolve until like your dad like telling you, all right, you seem like you really interested. Let's get somebody to mentor you. Did you have an OG that was on the organs that was like, hey, young buck, let me show you? You know what I mean?
my mother,
Okay.
Word.
she was the one that was like, Jeff, he's like he likes music. I think we should try and get him into something. And my dad, I think he wanted me to do more sports.
Mm.
And so my mother was more of the let's try and put him into music. And she was actually the one that bought my first keyboard when I was around maybe about 5 or 6, something like that. And then it kind of started from there. So it was really my mother.
Did your mom play instruments growing up? Was
Nope.
she musical at all? No? Anyone in your
Choir.
family? Choir. Okay.
Just in choir. That's
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
Got you. So what other instruments besides keys, or was it only keys that you know how to play or that you learned how to play as a kid?
Drums, but mainly keys though.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. Did you have any who were your like early musical influences, if you had any? Kind of
Mm.
before you got into like production deep. Was there anyone who
Oh,
you like really enjoyed listening to, or you were like, that's who I want to be like?
oh my gosh. Uh, that's a good one, Brittany. Probably, yeah. Dang. Not to say I want to be like this person or
Mhm.
whatever, but it was probably uh listening to the music in my mother's car. Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. Her driving me to school and to daycare, and I would always hear that type of music. Um, those type of people back when things were good in the what late 80s.
Okay.
We can listen to Whitney and
Yeah.
listen to Mariah Carey and Bobby Brown and all that stuff. So it was 90s back in that time.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Cool. So were there any so what kind of transpired? You stayed with the keys. I'm assuming you did that up through high school, and then
Well, yeah, I it was mainly on and off.
okay.
When I got into high school, uh, I tried basketball and actually made the basketball team.
Okay.
And uh, I was still doing some music, a little on the side, not as much.
Hmm.
In high school, sports was the fun thing,
Yeah.
basketball, football. And then I found out that I was too short to go to
Okay.
the NBA. And
Yeah.
NBA don't like players that are 5'7",
Got
five
you.
eight and
Yep.
a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm seeing these guys fly in the air, dunking the ball. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, let me really focus on this music thing and leave sports alone because I think I'm too short for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after you graduated college, or excuse me, high school, did you go to college and kind of pursue a bachelor's degree, or did you stay on the music route and like grind that out? What was that transition like following high
It was
school?
I got associate degree in computer science.
Okay.
So it was more into the editing aspect of video production,
Mm.
learning video editing, Photoshop, things of that nature. And then I ended up taking a audio class of Pro Tools, but it was like I don't know, it was almost like a side class or whatever the case may be. But I've always stayed into music by um YouTube University
Mm-hmm.
teaching
Yeah.
me putting the puzzle together. me actually learning how to do it, certain things on my own. You know, no one didn't teach me how to do it on my own.
You're really self-taught.
Yeah, I have to. Yep, I have to be self-taught.
Got
Exactly.
you.
Yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
So what was that transition like, kind of starting to figure out, like, when were you like, okay, I want to sell beats online? Like, when were you like, I want to be a producer, this is what I want to do? How was that transition into that?
When I found out through SoundCloud, that I saw someone on there trying to sell their beats, and I thought to myself, is this possible? And then did a little research, got on SoundClick, and I felt SoundClick was very clunky. I don't know how to, it wasn't like, it was hard for me to get the sales that I wanted based on what they were asking for, and it required way too much work. You know, emailing, and then it was just too much. So what was the question? I jumped off to something else.
No. You're right on. I was just asking, like, what was that transition like for you to decide, like, I want to be a producer, I want to sell my beats online? How did you kind of get into that space?
Probably when I heard about SoundCloud and then jumped on SoundClick.
Okay.
Right.
So that was like,
you first started selling on SoundClick, because I remember SoundClick. It's an old SoundClick, was around for a long time.
Yeah.
It was a platform.
Right.
And so it's it's kind of been clunky. It didn't really evolve, right? So so is that where you kind of started?
I started there. Started there, and then I ran into my Flash. Someone was using it on Facebook, and then I clicked on their link, and then it took me to something I was looking at. It was called My Flash, and I was like, "What is this?" And then as I started to, thumb through their beats and how their functions were, and how SoundClick wasn't like that, then that's when I started to research My Flash at the time.
Right. And then you kind of made that transition over.
I had to.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it only makes sense. It only makes sense.
I had to. It was a no-brainer. Yeah.
So when you were first starting out, can you recall any maybe early mistakes that you made early on as a producer when you first started selling beats? Like, was there something that you were like, oh, this is definitely gonna work right here, and then it just like completely didn't work?
Spamming people. I spammed so much on Facebook. They banned me 3 or 4 times.
Oh wow.
I was spamming like I was a spamming king. I would wake up and I would already have the copy and paste in my little notepad, and all I would do is just spam people and inbox them all day long. They would be cussing at me and all kinds of stuff, and then I'll still spam them and say, "Go buy my beats." I'm not gonna even lie.
That's important, because I feel like they're, I think it's one of those things that you don't know until you know, right? I mean, in a perfect world, it kind of makes sense. Like, hey, I'm gonna send you like all these beats, and you're interested. You want these? Like, these are good. These are my beats. But in reality, like that's not how it works.
Nope.
And I think that there's definitely some producers out there now that I'm sure are still in that spamming stage today, just because they don't know.
They don't know. Yeah. They just don't know.
So that was one of your early mistakes. Were there any successes that you recall? Maybe that first one where you did something and it worked. Like, do you remember selling your first beat? How that process was, and kind of some of the things that you did to get to that point that maybe you still use today?
Probably when I changed the tone of the message.
Talk about that a little bit.
I when I changed the tone of the message, making it more personal.
Mm.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? Making it more personal. People like to shake hands.
Mhm.
People like to have a cup of coffee. People like
Mhm.
to have conversation.
Okay.
People like to know that they're human.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when I jumped into that mental aspect and approached them in a way to where um, they are a human being just like me,
Mhm.
and made it about them, not about me, then that's when they started to open up and interact. And then when I got to that point, I found out giving them more is better. So
Mm.
I wouldn't say go buy this beat. I would say go buy uh fact about it, download 10 of these beats. But when you download 10 of these beats, I want to offer you one of our pack deals. So we have something going on to where you can get a buy one, get two free, or buy three, get four free. Let me know what you think about that. And I do want to connect with you. I like your music. So I had to reach them more on a human level,
Mhm.
and I had to over deliver,
Yeah.
overly deliver to them.
I think that's important. Kwesi and I talk about that a lot of time, a lot with producers, and just kind of
Mhm.
humanizing yourself and making yourself more personable. And I definitely checked out your Instagram page because I think that that's something that sometimes not even just producers, but creators. There's some people who they don't really like their face in front of the camera, and that's
Mhm.
okay. That's okay, but you have to find a way to still connect with your audience. So if you're going to be that faceless person, that's a-okay, but you have to find a way to connect with your audience to build that relationship, to show them like yourself, your authentic
Right,
self.
right.
And that was one thing that I took away from your Instagram is your face is all over it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do a great job of no,
Yeah.
not in a negative way, but you do a
Right.
great job of just kind of showing who you are. And I
Yes.
think that overall, like you said, it helps the selling process because people
Yeah.
now don't think that they're buying from a bot or just buying from
Right.
somebody or something that they don't
Right.
know. You know what I'm saying?
Right. 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 It's hard to get people's trust.
Mhm.
That's the most difficult thing um, that I find in selling beats. People don't trust people. And so if you can get them to trust you, they'll give you all the money in the world. But you got to get them to trust you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So you what is one of your you've been with Airbit, I mean, like you said, before it was Airbit, it was My Flash Store. So
Yep.
you
Yep.
talk about just kind of the longevity of remaining with Airbit, some of the changes that you've seen that you've really liked, some of
Mhm.
the features that you use that you think have like really helped kind of propel you to where you are today.
Right. I would say I think the bulk deals, being able to, and the discounts, um, being able to give your customer um, beat packs. What else? I think for me, that's the most powerful thing on there is enticing them to buy two and get three free, or buy
Yeah.
four, get five free. And you can play around with that. You know what I mean? In the sense of uh how I like to do it is I like to price my beats low. And once I can snag them once I can snag the customer when it's low, then I jump it higher. And the ones that bought it at a low price will give me all the money at the high price. So the boat deals, you know what I mean? That's what that technique took me a long time to figure that out. To
Mhm.
where if I could just put my pride to the side, you know what I mean? Because the water bill is coming regardless, and the light bills are coming.
Tell
Uh,
them.
yeah, and they don't care what
The
your
rent is
situation.
always due on the first
It's always doing the first, and they don't care who you are.
at
So
all.
if you could just figure out how to, uh sell low and then go high, you're okay. You can sell a ton of beats.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
said the bulk deals.
Okay.
I'm an advocate of that. I use it too much. Yeah.
I use
Well,
it too much.
Too much. Yeah.
I feel it.
you have a pretty oh sorry, Kwesi, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, no, it's yeah. So I mean, to your journey, how did you get to a point where you were getting a good enough like amount that was like what at what point did it switch to an amount that was like pretty comfortable, right? Because you kind of got to get into a groove to understand how your sales go and the sales trends, but
Mhm.
really it's also about how much you output. Like, how much
Right.
time does it take for you to make a beat? How much time does it take for you to upload it or package it? Like, how do you balance how you create and then how you sell, right? Because that's an art in it of itself.
Right. That's a good question. Ooh, boy, you got to be very organized.
Mm,
So
facts.
I would. I've recently gotten to a point to where I can make about 3 to 5 a day based on techniques um, that I use and never go outside those techniques when I'm creating the beat and when I'm arranging the beat. I try not to overthink it and put so much in it.
Okay.
People tend to have a difficult time processing that. If it's simple and it's left with a lot of room,
Mm-hmm.
you're good. I think when you're putting a lot into a track, you're putting yourself into it. You know what I mean? You got to think about the artist. So having a, structure of how you make your beats so you can pump out as many as possible, and then getting ahead of saying, okay, I need to at least have about 30 to 40 beats a week.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
don't put all your beats. You need to put them in a folder and say, okay, these beats are going to be uploaded for Airbit.
Mhm.
So not to just upload all 40 beats on your website. You could take those 40 beats and just stretch it and upload them, upload 2, 3, 4, 5 every Friday. So to answer your question is being able to produce a lot of beats at the end of the week, putting them in the folder to where you could just allow those 40 beats to just last you for a month or two.
Mhm.
And see that all and that frees you up to do other things.
Okay.
Dang.
You know what I mean?
Right, right. So you create a system. That's what you're saying. You
A
just got to
system.
create
There you go.
a system to where you can pump them out. Um,
Pump them out.
and then how do
And
you price it though? After that, like how do you
when I actually create the tracks,
yeah.
I price them up. Yeah, that's a good one. There's no,
I'm going
I,
for the
I don't.
gusto, boy. I'm coming for you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
okay. My pricing is based on it's based on they base it. They tell me how to price it.
The
Mm,
artist,
The buyers.
the
right.
buyers. Okay.
I follow whatever the buyers want me to do. It's their world. I
Mm,
do
Okay.
whatever they if I price it at uh $50 and I'm making a bunch of sales, then the buyer said leave it at 50. If I'm not getting any sales, so I might say because I'm operating in the dark, you know what I mean? And I have to test, and so I say, let me try 20, but let me give them a buy one get one free, and then I start making a ton of sales. I don't touch it. I leave it alone. So I, and so as they tell me, I start to figure out okay how I need to price it. And the way I price my beats is I always try and like I said, I always try. I found out when you price your beats lower, it's almost like you're giving them samples, but they're paying you for the sample. So
Mm.
I'll price my beats at $5.
Mm.
And those same people that buy my beats at $5, they come back around and give me, those same customers will go back around and buy it for 20, buy it for 50, buy it for 40. So I think to answer that question, I price it based on the customer's insight on how they buy my beats. And if I feel as though it's kind of just, well, that was a good question. It's kind of just, I don't, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I don't really have a set price.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't really have a set price. And if I do price it, majority of the times I'm going to price it low and then later price it high.
Okay.
Because I'm just getting buyers.
Right.
So I don't have a set way of how I do it.
Okay.
But price low and then later go high. Those same buyers that bought it low, they're gonna buy it high.
Mm. Yo,
People like good deals.
Gems, man. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. Talk about an OG since my flash store. We talking. Hey, let's go.
Yeah. So what are some of the ways that you kind of promote yourself and your brand? Like I said, I've seen your page. You're very active on your social media accounts. What are some of the ways that you kind of promote your beat store on social media and other social platforms?
Well, I always upload my beats on Fridays. Fridays tend to get people in a good mood. They're getting off of work, they're getting paid every week, they get paid every Friday. I think Friday is like the sweet spot. So what I tend to do is I give out value, maybe on like a Monday or a Tuesday, maybe on a Wednesday or Thursday or something. I may talk about what's coming Friday, like new beats, this, that, and the other. And then that Friday hit, and then I start uploading beats, and then start making sales through the weekend. So I try not to surprise nobody. People don't like surprises. People like to be led up to things, and then yeah, that's what I do. So I just go on social media throughout the week and make myself present. You know what I mean? I try and stay in their face, and then say, "Hey, Friday we got something. Everybody's in a good mood. We happy. It's Friday night, so let's get it popping." So, and I just start uploading. Go ahead.
Yeah. What social platforms are you on? I know you're on Instagram. What other social platforms are you on?
I'm on Instagram. I just kind of started with Twitter.
Okay.
For whatever reason, my Twitter game is just it's horrible. But I just got on Twitter, and Facebook.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I advertise like crazy on Facebook. I spend a lot of money on Facebook with the branding and advertising. So Facebook is probably my primary thing.
Really?
Is that brought a lot of revenue to you?
To a lot of revenue. With advertising with them, using the Pixel, selling beat packs on ClickFunnels and stuff like that. I'm one of those guys that people are like, "Why are you selling 100 beats for $17?" Because you can make $12,000 at the end of the month. That's why. So Facebook is my probably number one. I just jumped on YouTube as well.
Okay.
I just jumped on YouTube. I'm actually gonna let me throw this down. Will be actually putting a beat course out soon.
I saw that. I wanted to talk about that a little later.
Yeah, how to sell. Yeah, YouTube. I'm starting to love YouTube. But yeah, Facebook is definitely it's a powerhouse. Facebook is amazing. Yeah.
Are you monetizing through YouTube?
No, not yet.
Content ID.
I should,
ID,
right?
Yeah, content ID.
I need to do that, right?
And you have that through Airbit.
Right.
You have that through Airbit. So that's definitely a feature you should take advantage of.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm slacking on that. I need to do it.
Easy passive income right there.
Right. I need to do that.
And you don't need like 1,000 followers requirement, to start beginning that monetizing process
So
Airbit.
So you say you don't need thousands and thousands of subscribers and all that stuff.
Nope.
Okay, that's
Nope.
interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I gotta get off. I gotta jump on it right when I get off with y'all.
Yeah, we have some articles in our creator hub that kind of talk about it, and we actually it's one of our episodes that we have a few weeks ago where we're gonna talk about
Okay,
YouTube
cool.
content ID. Yeah,
Okay,
so
I gotta tune into
check
that
that
one.
one
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Dope. So I kind of want to give, like I said, being a top selling producer, I feel like you have a lot of knowledge. You've been in the game for some
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yep.
So I want to give you this opportunity to share some tips. And I like to break it down into tiers because when you think about production and I think about Airbit, not everyone is on the same level, right? You have
Right.
producers that are coming in who are just starting. You have those mid-level producers who are a little more seasoned, maybe have been in the game for a little longer, and then you have those upper tier producers.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting with the lower tier, right? The just started, the just getting started. I just joined Airbit. I'm trying to sell beats.
Mm-hmm.
What are like two really good tips of advice that you would give to this person, maybe that you wish you would have received or that you've learned along the way that would have helped your younger self?
Get an email list.
Get an email list.
Get an email list, and um, I'm gonna say go to Facebook because Facebook. Um, get your emails from Facebook because Facebook answers all of the questions. So meaning, um, when people are when I'm advertising on Facebook, let's not say I'm not gonna even say advertising on Facebook. I'm just gonna say Facebook pinpoints all the things that allow people to start trusting you. So you have your profile picture on there so people can go and maybe check out your profile, see what kind of person you are, if you're married, if you have children, things of that nature. So it answers a lot of questions, or are you human? People tend to go to the Facebook and look at do you post things? What do you like? Do you like ice cream? Do you like movies? Be human. Don't sell. Do not sell. Be human. And when you're reaching out to people in a very genuine way, as genuine as you could possibly be, then you need to be ready for when they say, hey, I like your music, I like your beats. Where can I come check you out? And the best thing to send them, don't send them to your selling site. Say, oh, no worries, I got you. Actually, you could click here and then you could sign up and give you some free beats. So you need to have an email list,
Mm-hmm.
and that email list will take care of you. And you need to be very authentic and genuine as possible to your email list. They need to be your family, and they don't need to be your friend. They need to be your family, and that's how you have to treat your email list. Yeah,
Cool.
Facts.
yeah,
OG talk.
yeah. They're gonna take care of you if you can be very genuine to your email list. I've gotten to the point to where in my email list I've said, hey, my wife got pregnant, you guys, I want you guys to come celebrate it with me, blah 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 blah, or I'm going on live, or I'm not even talking about beats. And that transitions over into them taking care of being my family. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I try, get an email list, go to Facebook, be authentic on your Facebook, be genuine, be polite, be genuine, and then have be ready, meaning give them something to where they can sign up on something. Don't sell them anything, just be ready. So when they say, hey man, I like what you're about, I like what you represent, I like your music, I like your beats, where can I come check you out? Send them to a site to where you could collect information. The information is way more powerful than a quick sell.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move it up a level to that mid-tier producer. So this is
Okay.
someone, maybe they have that email list. right?
Okay.
So maybe they got their profile, they're human, they're, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, they're networking. What is something that they could do at that mid-tier level to push them into that top tier?
Giving them really good deals. Giving them really good deals. Um, the best thing I can say is uh giving them man, I know this may sound a little cliche, but giving them free beats. Maybe you want to have a tag on them, maybe have tags on those beats.
Mhm.
And then um you will be surprised how many people will come back around and say, how much is this beat? I want the tag off of it.
Mm.
I can't do anything in the studio with it.
Right.
You got some people that say, oh no, give free beats with the tag. No, the tag uh creates the I think the tag saves you, but I think it's all it is just giving them free reign to just uh hear the production, maybe see themselves rapping on it, maybe putting
Mhm.
maybe taking they I've gotten tons of people that said, hey, I went into the studio and, me and my friends rapped on it and, we sung on it or whatever the case may be. How much is it to get the tag off? And then once you could get them interacting with you, because the tag does that, I don't, the tag creates the relationship. So when you can get someone communicating with you, then that's when you can start negotiating and giving your prices out.
Mm.
So I'm a tag king. I'll tag it. I'll put 5 or 6 tags on it. Real low though. Real low. Hey, Brittany, I keep it low so they can actually get into the studio and get all like excited about it and be like, yo, this is fire. Like I want to get this. And so I want them to come back to me. And then soon as they come back to me and say, hey, when I see that, hey, how much in the email? Woo, I'm so excited, but I'm like a little kid in the candy shop. I'm like, oh, yes, let's do this. I'm thinking about all kinds of stuff. Oh, yeah, well, this is what's your budget? Especially when they say, how much are the exclusives? I never give a price out when they say how much is your exclusive because I don't know what you have in your bank account. So I say this, what's your budget? And so I'll let you tell me how much you're gonna give me. And then I'll negotiate quickly from there. And I've gotten it to the point to where that worked so well. The highest that I've sold on um my flash is $1,000 of an exclusive beat. It was sometime last year. And me and this guy, we went back and forth, and he actually bought an exclusive for 1,000.
Nice.
Yeah, I almost cried about that one, but yeah,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fire.
So yeah,
That's
so yeah, definitely. When people start, and that's a drop. One more nugget. When they come out to you and they say, how much are your exclusive? Don't ever give a price out.
mm,
Say what's your budget, because you can get higher than what you probably originally started out in your mind. You know what I mean? Because I could have sold the exclusive at that time, for $100, but I got 1,000,
right.
all by saying what's your budget, and then we negotiated. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
that's a good tool right there.
What's your budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, just what's your budget? It's an old school thing, but yeah, what's your budget? I want to create something that's these little terms. I want to create something that's fair for you and something that's fair for me. So what's your budget? And then they just start throwing out prices, and then I just pick the one that's the business price, the highest one.
Yeah. Of
Right.
course. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right. So let's take it to this. This is the seasoned producer. This is that top tier. So they've been in the game for a while. Someone probably on your level. What is your advice to them? What is something that can, I'm someone who you can always elevate yourself a little higher. So
Right.
what is that piece of advice that you're giving or that you wish someone would have gave you to kind of put you a little more ahead?
work on your production, because people are comparing your beats to what they hear on the radio. They're comparing your beats to Kanye West. They're comparing your beats to Timbaland. Um, if your production is not as clean as possible, then you're not going to have anyone saying, "Hey, can I buy it for $600 or $700 or $800?" Um, I wish I would have focused more on the production part of things, and that's the work.
Mhm.
That's the work. And I don't. It's like I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. You know what I mean? Um, when people don't see your beats, they hear it. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's the first thing that happens. So after they perfect their production, because I'm still trying to perfect it. I would say um, work on work on marketing and branding. You know what I mean? You If you don't have your brand down pat, then you're gonna have a long, hard journey. You're gonna be spamming like I was spamming people,
What
like all day long, and
what
market.
what does that entail to have, like, your brand down pack? Like, what are a few things you can do to be able to say that, like, my brand is tight?
Good question.
What a minute, say it again now.
What are some of the things that you can do to kind of, like, enhance your branding? Like you said, make sure your branding is tight. Like, what are some of the things that you can do to make sure that your branding is tight? Or what are some of the things that you can do to better market yourself? Make sure you're marketing yourself at, like, your toppest tier.
Um, Staying present, posting, going using things like Fiverr. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Learning tools, learning uh, how to advertise um, on places like Facebook. Facebook actually have marketing, they're called marketing experts that will help you set your pixels up, that will help you set the right ads up, and target the right audience. So you can't target somebody that sells cars. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
knowing, you know what, Brittany? Knowing your audience. If you don't
Knowing
know
your
your
audience.
audience, you're lost. You're just pretty much throwing money down in a bucket with a hole in it. It's just you
Mhm.
just keep throwing it. It's just going nowhere. If so, you have to know your audience.
Yeah.
You got to know them in and out. You know what I mean? If you sell to rappers, you got to know where they are. You got to know where they hang out. Singers, if you do dance hall beats, I've sold beats in Africa, like dance hall beat packs, and uh, using Facebook. You got to know your audience. If you don't know your audience, then you're lost. So start with your audience. You gotta go where all the singers, and you got to go where they hang out at, and you got to market to them,
Yeah.
and be genuine to them. So you got to know your audience, and then once you find your audience, then you can start working on the branding. You know what I mean? Once you learn how to market and you find your audience, then you gotta bring them to a nice home. That's the brand.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Your colors, and what you represent and what you stand for and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then go for it. So your audience. Gotta know your audience.
That's beast. That's
Yeah.
beast.
Nice. All
Sorry if
right.
that was
So
long-winded.
no, 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 not at all, not at all. That was really good. I just want to kind of backpedal a little bit to
Mhm.
your course that you mentioned earlier that you're
Uh-huh.
starting. Can you share a little bit about that? And just kind of like what made you want to do that, like why you're looking to do that, the
Mhm.
process that you're taking to kind of take these steps to create this, when we can expect this.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, what actually made me want to, and this is a true story, what actually made me want to do a course, I was actually in Walmart. And the section outside the cart pushers,
Mm-hmm.
cart pushers. I ran into a guy that was pushing carts, and I kind of like I had my cart. You go to Walmart, you kind of throw the carts onto the side or whatever like that, and you got the cart pushers all like looking everywhere to try and find it and bring it all together. Anyways, I was one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into a guy. And I said, here, man, I'm not, this is my car. I'm not going to leave it all over the place, stuff like that. I know it's hot outside and, you sweating, I'm sweating right now. And he was like, yes. I said, I guess he asked me based on when he saw what I was driving. He's like, what do you do? And I said, oh, man, I sell beats online, this, thing, the other. I said, what about you? He said, oh, man, I'm a beat maker. I've been making beats and this, that, and the other. I can't, I don't know how to sell it and this, that, and the other. And so, I said, well, man, I'm gonna tell you this. We exchanged information. But anyways, the more I thought about it driving, I said, you know what, let me create a course. Because I know a lot of those people out there, like me, working in the gas stations and they working in Walmart. I was pushing the cars and stuff like that, trying to, make $1. And if I could just, teach them methods of how to just make money, that would make me, it would settle my heart a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the course is going to entail a lot about marketing on Facebook, how to advertise on Facebook, how to not get banned on Facebook, how to sell beat packs on Facebook, how to actually collect emails, how to start driving traffic to your emails based on follow-up series on email, how to email market, email marketing, how to just, build your brand by finding different color schemes and being stable. You know what I mean? People like stable things. So people don't like to be confused. So that's, what a brand is, things of that nature. So I'm just going to cut right to the chase and just really show them how to advertise on Facebook, how to just market themselves and really start building that email list and start pointing the email list to their sites where they can start making a ton of sales, and how to actually go about doing it.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
direction to go. That's the direction
Yeah.
to go. You can't sit on your own knowledge. Your knowledge is also gold, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's an extension of your brand.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it actually makes an impact too for those who are new to the game and don't know where to start. There's a lot of folks that have the passion for it, but just don't
Right.
have the experience of the tools. So
Right.
it's that's that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I want to be able to just bless people that's just, struggling on, taking care of their families. And, like I said, I used to work at Walmart. I was the cart pusher. You know what I mean? And, nobody didn't teach me. I had to teach myself. So I want to be able to give that kind of knowledge and really impact somebody that's trying to especially take care of their family.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I just got one more question, and it's kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
So we're about halfway through 2022. What is something that you have accomplished this year that you are very proud of? And what is something that you're looking to accomplish before the year is over?
Man, I got my family into a house.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Fire.
That's a huge accomplishment for me, especially what I took my wife through, and man, get a good woman. I mean, if you got a good woman on your side, you know what I mean? And vice versa, because it's going to be a long road. I'm gonna tell you that. ooh, boy, those nights to where, things are not looking right and, you need somebody to just, push you there. So having a good partner. But anyways, got into a home, and I want to say the second thing my goal is set on is getting a bigger home. And because I want to have another baby. I got two. I want to have one more. I gotta, I want a boy. I got two girls. So please, Lord, give me a boy. And I need a boy. But girls, they're gonna take care of me when I'm old and I can't think anymore. So I gotta keep that in mind. I got daddy girls, so when I'm old and stuff, they're gonna take care of me. But next thing I say I want to accomplish is really I want to get this beat course out.
Yeah.
I really want to help producers and let them know through all this crazy stuff that's going on that they can survive and take care of their family through getting this course.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
So yeah.
Yeah, you've
I want this
definitely
course to blow up.
True.
Yeah.
Hey man, that ain't nothing that it's not something that I wouldn't promote. You know what I'm saying? I definitely would, especially hearing your gems and hearing the years, because technology evolves. But
Yeah.
you also got to evolve in some of your insights that you've gotten over the past of the years. You think differently about how you can leverage technology today. And it's one thing to create a course if you started producing 3 years ago and you did your thing, but it's another thing if you've been doing this for a long time. Just like key points that you made in this that were kind of beyond all this, like, YouTube algorithm and blah, blah. There's some key things about how the principles of selling, principles of making a real connection, and building authentic relationships with your audience. Like, these are the things that you're really hitting, and it's well appreciated, man. I'm picking up what you're putting down, bro. Like,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Where can we find you on social media?
Instagram at Ceasar Beats. You can go to Facebook and just type in Ceasar Beats. Go to my YouTube channel, Ceasar Beats. I'm gonna continue to drop a lot of knowledge on there for free to help start. So at Ceasar Beats, Instagram at Ceasar Beats, Ceasar Beats on YouTube, and go to Facebook, type in Ceasar Beats. I'm all over Facebook and now on YouTube as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we link all of that in the description for y'all to check them out. And that wraps up this week's Mentor Series. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Take care. Be blessed.
Thank you, too.
Right. I hope y'all enjoyed that connection with Ceasar Beats. Shout out to the fam. And always good connecting with Airbit producers. So Brittany, you want to hit us with some announcements?
Yeah, we got announcements. All right. So this week, July 6th, we have our Beat Battle Light. So Beat Battle Light, again, just a quick breakdown. If you've never been to an Airbit beat battle, come to Beat Battle Light, bring a few beats with you. Let the host OB listen to them. He'll give you some feedback on if he thinks these are good to submit for Beat Battle Light. If there's anything that you can fix on them, it's just really great place to get good feedback for the official Beat Battle, which will be on July 13th. So Beat Battle Light is July 6th. Official Beat Battle is July 13th. We also announced last week our FBF theme for the month of July is West Coast theme.
Hey.
So start working on your West Coast beats. You know what I'm saying? Pull up in your white tee and your chucks. And we're going to have us a nice little party on the 29th of July. So that's what we got. Beat Battle Light, Beat Battle, FBF. We hope to see y'all at one of those events. Thank you again for tuning into NoTv. See y'all next week.
Summertime barbecues. Y'all already know that's y'all know what that's gonna be like. West Coast, baby. We out. Y'all have a good night or a good day and a good life.
Hey.